Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.37 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off 1.6. Bitcoin, 104,000 plus right now. 2,500 plus for Ethereum. XRP number 4 spot, $2.15. We're up 1.1 on the 24. We're off 3.6 on the 7-day. Let's look at the range of price. Range of price, is between 215 and 218. We're at the top side of that range. We'll keep an eye on it. And we do have some TA to look at before we get out of here today, so you'll appreciate that as well. Got to call attention to this very quickly here. This is really serious. This is an alert that came out yesterday, and it was a record 16 billion passwords, including for Apple, Facebook, and Google, have been leaked in the largest data breach ever confirmed. This is absolutely scary. Now, obviously, sarcastically, I said wonderful. I suppose this will be a great narrative as to why we need to overhaul to or move over to a new digital on-chain economy. And it is. And, the other thing is that it really touches base on what every one of us feel to some level and degree every single day. Now, you guys know that I don't keep all my assets in one place. I never, ever have. And I tell you, I've also been telling you about iTrustCapital and the PCA accounts, the premium custody accounts. Now, obviously, iTrustCapital has been just crushing IRAs forever. I've been with them 5 or 6 years now and love every minute of it. And I know all of you have too, but now they offer regular standalone accounts. It's a premium custody account. And this is remarkable. Look at this. Institutional custody, award-winning US-based support, low cost, no monthly fee, 1% flat fee. You can open it with some USD and then send your crypto, your XRP, right into the account. But what you need to understand about this is very simple. There are a lot of people out here who are trading every day and moving assets from one crypto to another. That's not for you. This is not for you. That's not what this is. If you're a person who gets up every day and look, I just want to know that I've got my assets somewhere that are safe, and it is a closed loop system. What do I mean by that? I mean, you're looking for security. So you open it with some cash, you send your XRP into the account, and the only way out of that account is by going back to cash, which would be hooked directly to your bank account. So this is a closed loop system to protect you. Look, the SIM card attacks, phishing attacks, you name it, phone calls, text messages. It's every day out here. We're all getting beat up about this. And I'm not trying to just pound the ground about this, but listen, 16 billion passwords were just leaked by major platforms. So this is something to think about if you're one of those people that's not trading crypto every day and you don't need to be on an actual exchange, with that exposure. This is a place where you can get, I'm serious. Again, I'm always looking for what? The best night's sleep I've ever had since I've been in crypto. And I get that on the platforms I'm on. iTrustCapital continues to be one of those platforms, and I love it, and I think you should check it out too. Go to itrustcapital.com/XRP Army and use XRP6 as your code and get started today. This is crazy what's going on. 16 billion passwords leaked. Speaking of which, social media platforms and all these others, let's listen to Linda Yaccarino here from X tell you what's coming today.
Imminently, literally imminently, could happen during this talk. It's going to be unlimited video, right? In the US, we're about to launch X Money. You've seen the enhancements with X Chat for premium users, off the charts capability. So think about what we're doing. Instead of getting distracted by clickbait noise, you're thinking about more people coming to the platform to spend more time to do more things. You know, soon you're going to be able to live your whole financial life on the platform. Peer-to-peer payments, stored value, pay a creator, watch a pay-per-view. I mean, come on, we're talking about what's next, not what stuff you talk about. It's like a fantasy of the past. So I wouldn't be here spending jam-packed 5 days if we didn't have tremendous partners along with us.
No doubt about it. This is getting very real, ladies and gentlemen. Imminently, she says. Imminently. Oh, I love it. Peer-to-peer payments and store of value, right? I'm telling you, things are about to change drastically. And if you remember, if you were at XRP Las Vegas, Sal Gilberetti from Tucrium was interviewed by none other than Zach Rector. And it was a great interview. Great job, Zach, as always. I want you to listen to this quick clip from Sal Gilberetti and see what he says about predicting 8 billion or more coming to XRP ETFs. Take a listen.
We heard from JP Morgan. They predicted 4 to 8 billion of inflows into the spot ETFs year one. Is this conservative? Is it too much? What do you think about that prediction?
I'll go with 8 or higher.
Yeah, a little low.
I think they're a little low on XRP. I think they underestimate the XRP community. I think they underestimate Ripple. The Ripple's Borgness, okay, I'll call it, where these guys are coming. They're building out every day. They're working as we're sitting here speaking. It's coming.
Wow, unbelievable. And I had a chance to talk to Saul, and he is amazing. No question about it. Ball of energy. And then here on the Hidden Road and Hidden Road and Ripple acquisition, take a listen.
It's fantastic. Hidden Road has active OTC out of London. We're a Hidden Road client. We intend to support them as much as we can. It builds out the XRP infrastructure, the whole Ripple ecosystem. We truly believe in it. We'll see how it goes with the fast settlement and all that. So, and for us being a paper derivatives trader, we need multiple counterparties, because when you're holding physical, there's no issue. You have physical, that's the asset. But when you're talking about paper and just money going back and forth, your counterparties get nervous, even your broker. So, you know, if we buy whatever, I guess we bought, you know, over 400 million or over 200 million of XRP. If we just held those physically, it's no problem. But if you're holding them in paper, somebody's got to give you that much credit, okay, or trust. Their balance sheet has to be dedicated towards, in case you default on a 2X. There's big price movement, as everybody might know if they're watching those things every day. And so there's a lot of risk control that goes on, and so you need multiple counterparties. Having Hidden Road come in as a counterpart, now wholly owned by Ripple, that's, for us, it's a wonderful development. Them coming into the US is just another step towards XRP usage in the US.
There you go. And inside the financial system, at the belly of the beast, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, White House crypto AI czar says, David Sachs says, one catalyst could create trillions of dollars of new demand for U.S. treasuries. Can you guess what it is? It's stable coins. And I think that the bill will provide the framework, the Genius Act, the framework in the market infrastructure bill will provide the framework that gives confidence to a lot of the traditional financial players to enter the space. So I think you're going to see the new stablecoin products, and I think you will also see stablecoins being used as payments. I think this is one of the really exciting things about the bill, is that blockchain infrastructure will be used as a new kind of dollar-based payment system. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The market infrastructure bill will provide a new kind of dollar-based payment system that's faster, more efficient, and smoother. It's a payment system of the future. It's not just about the digital dollar, ladies and gentlemen. It's about the rails that all the money runs on, right? Yes, it is. And the only way to get the digital dollar on the new digital on-chain economy is to tokenize all the U.S. dollars and all the U.S. bonds, which means all the U.S. debt. And that is already happening. Now, with that being said, I want to take you here, because we know we just had the Genius Act passed, but this is on stage with Christian Carlo in XRP Las Vegas 2024 from over 1 year ago. I wanted you to hear this little clip, and then I'm going to take you to a clip from this year with Chris Giancarlo on stage. This is why you need to make the investment and come here to these things, because I'm telling you, the stuff that's on stage, just whether it's Saul or whether it's Chris or whether it's Brad Garlinghouse or anyone else, David Schwartz, whoever, you won't believe the things that you'll learn at these events. Take a listen. The things that are happening, just the inflation, the money printing, we all in this room know that it's unsustainable. And we don't get an email when it hits that wall. There's a line in the sand when it comes to money. And this is so funny, because as involved as the construct of the financial system is, there's an imaginary line in the sand called confidence. And once it's lost,
absolutely,
that piece of paper isn't worth anything.
That's right.
And what I see coming, and I want you to speak to this from just from the Digital Dollar Project. What I'm seeing is this unavoidable moment in the front of us, and there has to be someone at some point has to come forward and allow these new use cases to be happening, like stablecoins, private issuers, because I see like this hyperinflation moment. Now, I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I don't know whether it slides greatly or what's that scale look like. I can't tell you, but everybody knows that it's a high probability of happening. We just don't know how bad it gets, right? But if you introduce this ability for these new issuers to have a stable coin, then they are the ones that soak up like a sponge or a bulkhead that catch these hyperinflated dollars that are coming back home. Could you speak to that as a...
Yeah, well, I'm glad you put your finger on it. I think the biggest threat to the American way of life is government money printing.
Yeah.
Everyone here...
Absolutely right. Now let's move to the conversation this year, and let's take a listen now.
Beyond that, they're also thinking about how do we create something that's more like a reserve? The difference between a stockpile you just collect.
So this is the conversation going from stablecoin legislation and understanding before the stablecoin legislation was really put forth in a meaningful way or even passed over a year ago. We're talking about stablecoin private issuers being the real holy grail to get the bond issuance from countries and the petrodollar holders or participants, OPEC, to take that power away from them so they don't hold us over a barrel anymore. Now, in doing that and putting the stable coins in place and then issuing these new private issuers to hold U.S. bonds to the tune of trillions and trillions of dollars will be the new way of elevating the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency in the digital on-chain economy. And with that being said, then you come to the strategic reserves, the digital asset stockpile conversation, and that's what we're talking about right here. So let's hear that again.
Beyond that, they're also thinking about how do we create something that's more like a reserve? The difference between a stockpile you just collect. A reserve is something that you actually actively utilize. So our strategic petroleum reserve is something that is not just used. You may think it's only used if we have a shortage of oil, we release some oil. No, it's actually used strategically and for monetary policy purposes, because the dollar is tied to the global price of oil. If our economic adversaries, like OPEC, decide to reduce production to drive up the price, we can sell from the reserve to counter that and reduce the price, and therefore control the exchange rate for the dollars. So we use the strategic reserve. Well, when you've got the BRICS countries talking about creating a rival currency to the dollar and perhaps pegging it to physical commodities like gold or digital commodities, then it makes sense for us to actually reserve that to do the same thing we do with strategic petroleum. So that's very much, again, an earlier panel talked about these coming rivals to the dollar. There's no question that there is desire amongst many countries, the BRICS countries and others, to come up with a rival, but that is why the United States is stockpiling gold. That is why the United States is now stockpiling crypto, because they're aware of those threats and they are committed to preserving the dollar. Now, we've got to get Congress.
Yeah, there you have it right there. They are committed to preserving the dollar, no question. Now let's pick it up right here for the last part of it all, because it's all about acquiring these digital assets that have utility, by the U.S. government and the possible U.S. digital asset bond issuance so they can actually acquire the asset and not cost the taxpayer a penny, but yet revenue share with the taxpayer in a bond issuance for XRP and Bitcoin and other assets.
You know what's interesting is when you talk about the oil comparison here, in the creation of this digital asset stockpile, they can sell the assets out of there. And I think some people have mistakenly looked at that as a deficiency to that. But what I saw is that is just like oil. They can sell oil. So if they acquire these digital assets and over time they can sell them, they could price control these assets in question just as they do oil.
And you know, countries have been doing this since the dawn of time. Right. We know that ancient Egypt actually stockpiled wheat. We know that China today stockpiles everything from pork and soybeans to rebar to copper to earth metals.
And it's going to continue to digital assets. That's where this is going, ladies and gentlemen. And I couldn't be more excited. Now, a reminder here, Federal Reserve puts out Fed Funds Service migration is coming soon. They're calling July 14th, the countdown to ISO 20022. Are you ready? I think all of us are. Let's see it happen. Let's find out what it looks like. And one more from Sal Gilberetti from Tucrium here talks about the price model that was created on the calculator between Susan Athey from Ripple and Robert Mitchnick from Ripple at the time, who's now the current head of digital assets at BlackRock, and talk about the mathematical calculator they have that goes from $5 to $4,300 for XRP price. Take a listen.
Robbie Mitchnick model.
Mitchnick model. You know, that says $4,300 XRP. So that's pretty happy.
Oh, Sal.
But, you know, any good businessman cuts it in half again, and then maybe thinks about it. And there are a lot of assumptions in that model. There are other models that say $5. So, you know, take your pick in between. I think it'll take time. I think the industry still needs to mature. The XRP overhang, which is substantial, needs to be utilized, and that's going to take a while for the real price explosion that people expect.
I think he's got it, man. I really do. And, you know, I think we get there. It's just about whether people, you know, look, I mean, do we get there quickly or do we get there over time? It's like, to me, I just see everything up until now has been like a phase-in operation. So it would make sense if we continually see that gradual increase. But then at the same time, you could see a massive onboarding of financial institutions, creating a real upward pressure on price and on the asset. Look, if we see a U.S. government bond issuance for XRP, that's a demand to get the XRP off the market into a custodian. You're going to see 18 to 20 XRP ETFs approved at some point, not too far from now, I believe. That's going to be another huge demand to soak up the XRP off the market. And then at the same time, for the first time in the history of XRP, you will see the financial institutions without any objection be able to come in and use this asset without any objection, and in fact, encouraged to do so. And that makes me very excited about what could happen there, because all of that is upward demand for payments and for custody, however you see it. Meanwhile, Eggrad Crypto says, this is how I see it. In the white circle, we always pump. Based on my analysis here, the potential targets, he says $11.50, $27 with a massive 1,227.5% pump, or $42, which would be even more than that. How did I arrive at these figures? Why is the minimum target $11.50, and why could we see up to $42? Let the commenting begin. The two best explanations win a month free access to his subscriber section. So make sure you check that out if you're interested. I'm sure he's doing a lot of great information in there. But here you can see, and we've been here before, and we get these pumps, and we've been here before, and we get these pumps. So we're here again, and we're looking for that pump. Interestingly enough, the Fed is considering now cutting rates maybe as early as July. Could this be the stage for the pump that we're about to see? Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. We're going into the freedom zone. And today we're going to talk about World War III or world peace in the Middle East. Oh my goodness, you're going to want to join us, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a good one in here today. Make sure you click the join button under any title of the video or go in the description box and click the Patreon link and join us. Same perks, same price. And I tell you, all your daily videos, 0 Google ads, plus the extra content we're getting into right now. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. Come on in. All right.